Giving this little nigga too much power, sitting on a podcast talking about shit that don't make no sense. Don't make no sense.
Wait, who are you talking about?
They ain't never played a game in the league never played it. And they out here talking about niggas need to move here. That's why the other agent came up there and approached that nigga and said, hey, listen, you need to chill out with all this talking about moving my guy.
Rich Paul just lit a fire under the Lakers. He went on his own podcast and straight up suggested trading Austin Reaves for Jaren Jackson Jr., and the internet exploded. Fans were furious. Austin Reaves' agent personally confronted him, and the Lakers front office reportedly fed up. Things got so wild that Rashad McCants jumped on Gil's arena and tore into Rich Paul for even speaking on trade ideas like that. He questioned whether agents should be allowed to have podcasts at all, and the debate got heated fast. McCants didn't hold back for a second. He called Rich Paul's comments reckless and said they blur the line between reporting and manipulating.
We asked the chat, did Rich Paul cross the line with AR take? 69% of the chat said yes. Neither here nor there. Actually saw Rich at the Lakers-Bucks game Friday. Said that
it was 69%.
The discussion kicked off with the panel arguing whether the Lakers should keep Reaves and pay him big money or trade him before his value skyrockets. But once Brandon Jennings brought up Rich Paul's podcast clip, everything changed. The whole tone shifted, and McCants was ready to set the record straight.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I'm not buying it at all. Giving this little nigga too much power, sitting on a podcast talking about shit that don't make no sense. Don't make no sense.
Wait, who are you talking about?
They ain't never played a game in the league never played it. And they out here talking about niggas need to move here. That's why the other agent came up there and approached that nigga and said, hey, listen, you need to chill out with all this talking about moving my guy. And my guy ain't did nothing but did the great things for the Lakers.
The main question was sharp and simple. Should an active agent have a podcast where he publicly discusses trades involving real players? McCants' answer was loud and clear. Absolutely not. He said Rich Paul's behavior is damaging the entire agent profession. His reasoning, solid and eye-opening.
Do you think Rich Paul is hurting agents by the fact that he has a podcast and that he's talking about?
No, I don't think he's hurting agents.
Okay. All right, cool.
I'm still. I gotta listen to every topic.
Okay.
Like I don't mind. Like just like I don't mind you talking the game because that's
fine.
What are you talking about?
If you're talking about making moves, the team should be making moves. He literally said, if I'm the Lakers, I'm doing this deal. That is cringe.
So what's the same? So what's the difference between what him and Shams is doing?
No.
Because it's all rumor.
No. That's a very different.
Not an agent.
It's just a rumor at the end of the day. We don't know. It's a rumor.
It's very different.
It's a rumor.
Now
it's a rumor.
No, it's not.
It is a rumor.
You are an agent. And
you're creating it.
See, when guys like Shams Charania or Adrian Wojnarowski drop trade rumors, they're reporters doing their job. They gather info from sources and pass it on to the public. They relay news. They don't create it. They're the messengers, not the makers.
Shams has connections to people that's in the front office. You think he's just saying that? So does Rich. You think Shams is the biggest guy right now?
He's not representing nobody.
He don't have to. He don't have to. I still got the information.
The difference is
he's not representing
information is information.
No, one is getting information. One is secondary information. I'm getting it from somebody and I'm relaying it. One can create the information. That's very different.
Okay.
But Rich Paul, he's playing a whole different game. He's not a journalist. He's one of the most powerful NBA agents alive, representing multiple All-Stars, including LeBron James himself. His words carry real weight behind the scenes. When someone like Rich Paul says, if I were the Lakers, I'd trade Austin Reaves for Jaren Jackson Jr., that's not just an opinion. It's pressure. It's influence. It can move conversations, shake up front offices, and even shift the balance of power in the league. McCants pointed this out perfectly. He said the issue isn't that Rich Paul talks, it's that his words create movement. He's not commenting on rumors, he's making them. Jennings tried to defend him, asking what's the difference between Rich Paul saying that and Shams reporting it, but McCants instantly shut that down. You're an agent, you're creating, he fired back. That line hit hard. McCants explained that reporters like Shams get information from sources, but Rich Paul is the source. He has the power to make things happen just by speaking. And that's exactly what makes his comments so dangerous. So now the question stands, has Rich Paul crossed the line? Should NBA agents with real power be hosting podcasts and dropping trade takes that could shake entire franchises? Drop your thoughts below because this one's getting messy fast.
What if Rich Paul was Austin Reaves' agent? Would he have said this?
Well, he said LeBron can't win a championship. That's worse.
Now picture this. You're Austin Reaves. You're balling out, dropping close to 27 points a night when healthy, and your team's finally recognizing your worth. You're on the verge of a life-changing deal, up to $250 million on the table. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, LeBron James's agent, one of the most powerful men in the entire league, hops on his podcast and says your team should trade you. What? That's not just talk. That's a major power player possibly shifting your career with a single sentence.
Probably not enough who commented on what you said actually watched the clip, even the full clip.
Right. Including my man Reg, who happens to be Austin's agent. We talked, this is my guy. I mean, I've known him for 20 years. And he said, Rich, I didn't watch the shows. Okay. So we talked about it. And I'm like, look, Reg, you my man. And I want Austin to know.
Now flip it. Imagine being your agent, Reggie Berry. You've spent years building your client's value, protecting his image, and setting up the biggest payday of his career. Then Rich Paul goes and casually drops that comment in front of millions of listeners. You'd be furious too. That's exactly why Reggie Berry reportedly flew across the country just to confront Rich Paul face-to-face at a Lakers game. And honestly, who could blame him? Rich Paul crossed a professional line that agents know better than to touch.
Probably not enough who commented on what you said actually watched the clip, even the full clip.
Right. Including my man Reg, who happens to be Austin's agent. We talked, this is my guy. I mean, I've known him for 20 years. And he said, Rich, I didn't watch the shows. Okay. So we talked about it. And I'm like, look, Reg, you my man. And I want Austin to know this is not about Austin Reaves because, one, love the player, love the person, and two, I actually need him to help me with my golf game. So I'm not trying to mess up anything with AR.
I don't remember who, I think it was I who brought up.
You brought it up.
Reaves, because you were saying this is how they could get him. And you were talking about draft picks and matching salaries and expiring.
In this business, there's an unspoken rule. Agents don't talk about other agents' clients in trade talk, period. It's more than respect. It's about not messing with another player's value or future. When someone as influential as Rich Paul breaks that rule on a public platform, it doesn't just cause drama, it can tank relationships and send shockwaves through the league. McCants even pointed out that this isn't just about Austin Reaves anymore. It's about what it says about LeBron. Because let's be real, whether LeBron personally agrees or not doesn't even matter at this point. Everyone assumes Rich Paul is speaking for him. That's how deep their connection runs. Rich Paul's entire career was built on representing LeBron James. Every move he makes carries that shadow. So when Rich talks Lakers business, the world hears LeBron's camp. That's the perception. And in the NBA, perception is power.
So LeBron James' agent, Rich Paul, made headlines earlier this week when he suggested on his podcast that the Lakers trade Austin Reaves for Grizzlies All-Star Jaren Jackson Jr. But after last night's Lakers win, LeBron tried to distance himself from his agent's comments. James told ESPN in his way out of Crypto.com Arena this, quote, I think you all know by now, Rich is his own man, and what Rich says is not a direct reflection of me and how I feel. And I hope people know that. I hope people know that. And if they're not sensible to know that, then I don't know what to tell them.
LeBron tried to do some damage control later, saying Rich Paul is his own man and speaks for himself, not for him. But come on, nobody's buying that. The connection between them is too strong, the history too long, and the pattern too familiar. You can't just erase 2 decades of partnership with a tweet or a quick soundbite. And here's the kicker. If LeBron really disagreed with Rich Paul's trade comment, he could have shut that down before it ever went public.
The flip side to it, however, is that there's also a history with LeBron James directly or indirectly influencing team moves and using media, podcasts, and other forms of media to do it. That's a fact. And when that's the reality, you got to know if you're Rich Paul, and when you open your mouth, the assumption is, oh, this is something that LeBron James is feeling, Rich Paul is speaking for.
But the fact that he didn't, and then later had to publicly distance himself, that says everything. It proves there's overlap, whether intentional or not, between what Rich Paul says and what people think LeBron wants. Let's be honest, Rich Paul has always been seen as LeBron's voice in the boardroom. That's not conspiracy, it's history. For years, their dynamic has been built on shared moves, joint strategies, and massive influence. So when Rich makes big public statements, people don't just hear an agent talking, they hear LeBron's circle moving. Brandon Jennings tried to defend Rich Paul, saying agents should be allowed to talk hoops and share opinions. And sure, that sounds fine in theory. Nobody's saying agents can't love the game or have takes. But when your words can alter a player's future and shift a franchise's direction, that's no longer just talk, that's control. And that's exactly why everyone's watching this situation explode. Here's the truth. There's a huge difference between talking basketball and pushing trade ideas that affect real players you don't even represent. If Rich Paul wants to break down zone defenses, talk about pick and roll sets, or debate which system fits modern hoops best, no one would blink twice. That's fair game. But when he gets on a mic and says the Lakers should trade Austin Reaves for Jaren Jackson Jr., that's not analysis. That's strategy with an agenda. It's a move that directly helps his client LeBron James while putting another player's career in jeopardy. That's where commentary turns into manipulation. Even Gilbert Arenas, who tends to side with powerful figures, seemed torn. He admitted they'd revisit the conversation the next day, but Rashad McCants, he wasn't pulling any punches. He said Rich Paul was dead wrong and made it crystal clear that the line between being an agent and being a media personality isn't just blurry, it's almost gone. McCants said agents like Rich Paul are changing the game in ways that hurt other professionals and twist the business side of basketball into something messy and self-serving. McCants' comparison between Rich Paul and insider reporter Shams Charania hit the nail on the head. Shams is a reporter. He receives info, verifies it, and reports it. He's a messenger. But Rich Paul, he's a player in the very system he's talking about. His words don't just echo, they move things. That's a world of difference. Reporters can pass along rumors safely, but when Rich Paul speaks, front offices listen. And when he mixes that power with media influence, you're talking about real-world consequences for players' careers. It's like this. Imagine if a sitting Supreme Court justice started a podcast and began giving their personal takes on cases still being decided. Even if they said, hey, these are just my opinions, everyone would see the conflict right away. You can't wear two hats like that without people questioning your motives. That's exactly what's happening with Rich Paul. He can't separate his identity as LeBron's agent from his podcast persona. It's impossible. And the timing? Oh, it couldn't be worse. Austin Reaves is in a contract year. The man's about to lock in generational money, and at the peak of his value, Rich Paul suddenly suggests shipping him out? That's not coincidence. That's timing with purpose. Whether intentional or not, those comments could lower Reeves' market value or mess with his relationship inside the Lakers locker room. And guess what? The Lakers front office reportedly isn't happy either. They see this for what it is, a massive headache. Imagine having to manage two of your biggest stars, one being represented by a guy stirring up trade drama on a podcast. It's chaos for no reason. It makes contract talks awkward, sows distrust, and muddies up roster decisions. Rashad McCants gets it because he lived it. He's been inside those locker rooms, seen how power moves really work, and he knows that what Rich Paul did isn't just casual talk, it's calculated. McCants said straight up that if agents start using podcasts to stir trade talk about players they don't even represent, the whole league's going to spiral. It's not just unprofessional, it breaks the foundation of trust that makes the business side of the NBA function. And now, the bigger question is echoing through the league. Should agents even have podcasts while they're still active? More and more insiders are saying no, because the conflict of interest is way too obvious. You can't represent all-stars by day and play media insider by night. It's too messy. Every word can shift markets, spark rumors, or influence front offices. Rashad McCants summed it up perfectly. If this keeps up, the NBA won't know where business ends and entertainment begins. And when that line disappears, chaos isn't just possible, it's guaranteed. Rich Paul has made it crystal clear. His podcast isn't just for fun, it's a business move. He's diving headfirst into the content world, turning media into another revenue stream. And sure, that's fine for most people, but when you're one of the most powerful agents in basketball and you represent LeBron James, the most influential player on the planet, you can't just act like any other podcaster. Every word you drop carries serious weight. Every what-if suggestion can ripple through the league and even shake up real rosters. Because let's be honest, when Rich Paul speaks, front offices listen. His voice doesn't echo in the background. It shapes conversations in boardrooms and locker rooms. And because of his tight bond with LeBron, everything he says about the Lakers is instantly seen as coming from LeBron's camp, whether that's true or not. There's no separating the two anymore. And this isn't even the first time we've seen blurred lines like this. Remember when LeBron launched his Mind the Game podcast? A lot of people questioned whether it was cool for an active player to have a platform where he openly discussed strategy, team chemistry, and coaching philosophies. At first, it sounded harmless, until it didn't, because suddenly that same podcast seemed to coincide with the Lakers firing Darvin Ham and bringing in JJ Redick. Coincidence? Maybe. But even though JJ's been killing it as a coach, the ethical questions didn't disappear, they just got quieter. That's the slippery slope here. If players and agents keep using podcasts to comment on trades and team moves, where does it stop? What's next? General managers starting shows to talk about which players they want to trade? Or team owners hopping on the mic to roast their own rosters? At some point, the lines get so blurry the league's integrity starts cracking. That's exactly why Rashad McCants went off. He said Rich Paul crossed a professional line, and he's absolutely right. Paul didn't just talk basketball, he publicly suggested trading a player he doesn't represent in a way that would benefit his own client. That's not opinion, that's influence. And he did it on a huge public platform, with millions watching. Now he's facing heat from every direction. Austin Reaves' agent came at him. The Lakers front office is reportedly annoyed, and voices like McCants are calling him out for the ethics behind it all. And now Rich Paul's trying to backpedal. He's out here saying it was just content and that he's known Austin Reaves' agent for 20 years, like this was all some casual talk about golf. Come on, that's not clarification, that's damage control. If he truly believed what he said was fair, he wouldn't need to explain it away. The fact that he's trying to soften the blow proves he knows he crossed a line. Even Brandon Jennings' defense of Rich Paul doesn't hold up. Jennings argued that information is information, but that completely misses the point. The source matters. The intentions behind that information matter. And most importantly, the power to act on that information changes everything. Rich Paul isn't some YouTuber giving hot takes. He's a major agent with real pull in the NBA. His words don't just entertain, they can alter careers. That's what Rashad McCants exposed so perfectly. This isn't about one comment, it's about accountability. It's about keeping business and media from bleeding into each other in a way that manipulates the system. So what do you think? Did Rich Paul really cross the line with his Austin Reaves comment, or should agents have total freedom to speak their minds like anyone else? If you're with McCants and think this was out of bounds, hit that like button. If you believe agents should be able to say whatever they want, smash subscribe, drop a comment below, and tell us why. And don't forget, share this video, and we'll see you on the next one.